Today we're on an adventure to the medieval town of Arundel for a day trip from London. This is special for me because it's where I went to college back in the late 80s, early 90s. So I'm bringing my family to show them my old stomping grounds, and I'm inviting you all to join us. From my old college and the hidden medieval church and cemetery behind it, to the Arundel Castle and the 12th century pub where we're gonna have lunch, this is gonna be a truly special day. So we got off on Amberley train station from Victoria Station in London, and we're walking on the side of the road, and there's no sidewalk, but in this awesome medieval village here to get to the George and Dragon pub, and here we are. Although as much of a lovely walk it was, look, there's no sidewalk and the cars have to go around us, but here we are. This is from the 12th century, this little pub, and we have reservations for lunch. In retrospect, we should have ordered a taxi to bring us here from the station, but we were told, hey, you can just walk it. We asked a local person. They failed to tell us that there's no sidewalk, but you know, people were really nice. They all slow down, they go around you, so you just have to be a little careful. And it's a nice brisk day, and the surroundings were absolutely gorgeous, so it wasn't that bad. It only took us about a 10-minute walk. Charles II, on his ride to the coast after the Battle of Worcester, stopped to take ale at this inn in 1651, October 4th. We are here. This is the George and Dragon, and we got lovely tables outside, beautiful weather, and it's gorgeous. This view is amazing. They actually have a fantastic menu here with everything from traditional British pub classics like steak and ale pie and fish and chips to barbecue wings, burgers, and pasta. But there's one dish I just couldn't pass up. Almost 40 years ago, on my very first visit here, I ordered the sirloin steak with the peppercorn sauce, and it was so good that I never forgot it all these years. So today, after all that time, I'm gonna order the exact same meal, and I'm hoping that it's just as delicious as I remember it. Built in 1276, the George and Dragon is officially recognized as one of the 3 oldest pubs in Sussex. But what makes this place truly fascinating is not just its age, it's the incredible story connected to one of England's most famous kings. In 1651, after the defeat of the Battle of Worcester, a young King Charles II was forced to flee for his life. With the price on his head and enemies searching for him, Charles disguised himself as a servant and began one of the most famous escapes in British history. During his secret journey toward the coast and eventually ending up in France, he stopped here at the George and Dragon, where he enjoyed a quiet drink of ale before continuing his dangerous escape. So sitting in this very pub was a future king hiding in plain sight. Of course, the George and Dragon has seen a few renovations over the centuries, but so much of this pub is still original, and as a history buff, that's what makes exploring a place like this so exciting to me. And of course, no ancient English pub would be complete without a ghost story. Local legend says that on cold winter evenings, a mysterious figure dressed in the style of a cavalier connected to the time of King Charles II has been seen near the fireplace. Thankfully, this ghost is said to be rather gentlemanly, quiet, polite, and apparently just enjoying the atmosphere of this historic pub. So when I spoke to the servers about the ghost story, they did say that some of their customers have reported seeing the ghost by the window. And as an avid horror movie and ghost story fan, I was really hoping to catch sight of this ghost, but alas, I saw nothing. So I actually discovered this pub back when I was in college down the road, almost 40 years ago. One weekend afternoon, as we were exploring the area, we came up on this pub, went in for lunch, and I fell in love with this place. I had the steak with pepper sauce, and it was so good that I never forgot about it. One of the most magical parts of the George and Dragon is the view from the garden of the rolling foothills called the South Down. In the 1800s, artists actually traveled to here from all over just to paint the incredible light, landscapes, and peaceful beauty of this area. Up here on the patio, you can sit and enjoy a lovely lunch or dinner, and down there they actually have a drink-only area where you can enjoy a pint of ale and take in the gorgeous view. And they also have live music here on the weekends. And finally, the food. It was absolutely amazing, and yes, my steak was just as delicious as it was 40 years ago, and Nicholas ordered the steak and ale pie, which he wouldn't stop talking about. After stepping back in time at the George and Dragon, we're continuing our journey through the history of West Sussex with a visit to another hidden gem. This is St. Mary Magdalene's Church, tucked away behind my old college here in Arundel. We used to come here all the time when I was a student, and it's hidden down this very hard to find little path, which I'll show you on our way out. And unless someone tells you it's here, you'd actually never know it existed. This beautiful Norman church was built around 1140, and it sits on the grounds of Torrington Manor, which eventually became my college. In 1978, the church was actually declared redundant, which meant that the regular Sunday services were stopped, but thankfully it wasn't abandoned. And today, it's officially protected as one of England's most significant historic churches. As you walk in, take a look at the Norman archway. It's covered in these rare carvings called beakheads, which are these weird little creatures with bulging eyes, birds, and even a rabbit that are all biting onto the stone. Back in the medieval times, they would have been painted in bright colors to remind the people that evil existed outside the safety of the church. Another thing this church is famous for is its beautiful stained glass windows, created by Charles Kemp, who was one of England's most famous stained glass artists. Instead of signing his name, he hid a tiny wheat sheaf, which is basically a bundle of wheat, in every window he designed. His family crest had a wheat sheaf on it because Kemp was the Old English word for a bundle of wheat, so basically it became his personal artistic signature. If you look closely, you'll find it at the bottom corner of the window showing St. Richard of Chichester. It's like a little medieval Easter egg. And he also used this technique, which is called silver stain, which gives the bundle of weight a beautiful glow whenever the sunlight shines through the glass. I tried to find my old signature in the visitor's book from the 90s, but only the current book was there, unfortunately, which was a bummer, so I signed it again about 40 years later. Stepping outside into the churchyard is just as special as exploring the church itself. What I love about this place is how peaceful it is. On this beautiful day, the only sounds we could hear were the birds chirping and the groundskeeper working nearby. Some of the headstones are so old that the words have completely worn off. What's also interesting is that this isn't just a historic medieval cemetery, it's still an active churchyard today. Next to the ancient graves, we saw recent burials of people who live here on the Torrington Manor estate. If you're ever visiting Arundel and you love history, I can't recommend stopping here enough. It's really the definition of a true hidden gem. The owners graciously allow visitors to experience this incredible piece of history, so please be respectful of the church, the cemetery, and the entire property. So here's the hidden path I was talking about. It's actually a really spooky area, especially if you come here at night, which is what we used to do back in the day. It even has these twisted trees which look like something out of a horror movie. They even have a sign here that guides you to stay on the footpaths so you don't damage the area, which they work really hard to take care of. So now you can see what I mean by this being a totally hidden pathway to the old church. It's hidden by all these trees and shrubbery, and it has these skinny little footpaths you can take down the side of the estate. And as you walk through this path, you come right up to my old college. This was called New England College. It was the sister campus of the current New England College, which is in Henniker, New Hampshire. So back then, as a New England College student, you could choose to study in New Hampshire or come here for either a semester or for your entire time in college. I only went to college here for 2 years, but now I completely regret not staying for the entire 4 years. Seriously, I can't even express to you guys how awesome it was to go to school in this fancy old, like centuries old manor in the middle of this gorgeous countryside. It was the experience of a lifetime, and I really, really regret not staying here for the entire 4 years. It's now unfortunately been turned into private condos, but not too much has really changed. The building itself is exactly the same as it was when I was here, and this large lawn area is exactly the same as well. The students would hang out here between classes and on the weekends. That courtyard ahead also hasn't changed. This area would be filled with all of us hanging out. On the weekends, we would play our music out here, which back then were cassette tapes. And that door on the bottom led directly into the first floor where the classes were held, and the office and dining hall, and upstairs were all the dorm rooms. It was a teeny tiny college, which was really cool because everyone knew everyone and we were all friends with our teachers. This building, which wraps around in the front, was the entire school and dorms, all in one. The dining hall actually looked a little like the dining hall in Harry Potter. These buildings here and the garages are all new though, and added once this was turned into condos. In this area stood our own little pub. Yes, we had our own private pub where we hung out each night, enjoying cocktails and playing darts. Even with our teachers, it was really awesome. We even had a tennis court, which is still here, a pool, and a tiny gym. And speaking of the pool, as always, there's a ghost story to go along with any old English area around here. So, as legend has it, this school was haunted by a ghost named Mary, who was a student here a long time ago. And apparently she was electrocuted by the pool and died. So we were always looking to catch glimpses of Mary, and we would explore all the corners of the school, and there were many stories from the other students about weird paranormal incidents, but unfortunately I never encountered her, though not for the lack of trying. And that brings me to the front of the school. This is the door to the main manor where the school office was. So even though I can't recommend this for any college students out there, unfortunately, but if you're looking to move to England, I do recommend moving into the condos here. And that brings me to our next stop in this incredible medieval town, the iconic Arundel Castle. Sitting on top of the High Street, which is what they call Main Street here in England, Arundel Castle has been watching over this town for nearly 1,000 years. The view from the castle is really breathtaking. You can see the entire village of Arundel below, with the Arun River winding through the rolling green hills of West Sussex, and you can even see my old college from here. The castle was originally built in 1067. It's been the family home of the Dukes of Norfolk for hundreds of years and remains one of England's most important historic estates. But Arundel Castle's history is not just about medieval kings, battles, and nobility. Arundel was on the front lines in World War II. In fact, local residents used to watch dogfights in the sky with the Luftwaffe. Because of its height and its location so close to the English Channel, en route to London, this castle was on the list of grand English estates that the Nazis wanted to use as their headquarters. It's so much fun walking through the ancient rooms, exploring the grand halls, and seeing all the incredible details throughout the castle, from the medieval architecture to the amazing collections inside. And one of the best parts is that it has an amazing gift shop, so definitely leave time to look around there. You can book your tickets online in advance or just walk up to the ticket counter. We just walked up and grabbed tickets without any huge lines, but then we weren't here during the high season, so I would actually recommend trying to buy tickets in advance online if you can. And that brings me to our last stop, which is in Arundel's High Street. This is one of the many reasons I love Arundel so much. This is their main street with the castle at the very top of the street and the World War I and World War II memorial in the center, surrounded by a few pubs, a pharmacy, and some shops and inns. This is it right here, and it hasn't changed since I was here 40 years ago, and it hasn't changed since 80 years ago, and hundreds of years ago. It's the same as it always was, and hopefully as it always will be. When you come here, it's like you're walking into a time capsule. The outside world just thankfully hasn't ruined it. The High Street was actually designed in the Middle Ages, about 1067, and it was designed to lead everyone directly to the castle gate, which is directly at the top of the main street. And up ahead is the Red Lion pub, which was our hangout when I was going to school here. But unfortunately, recently it had a full renovation on the inside and they completely changed it. Not the outside, but the inside was changed, and it was really heartbreaking to see when I walked in. But we went back to the garden, which didn't exist back then, and had a very nice lunch, so I do still recommend to stop by Red Lion for a pint of ale and a hearty meal as you spend your day exploring one of my absolute favorite places in the entire world. The Red Lion pub is a classic 18th century pub, and honestly, the whole place had so much more character. It was everything you'd imagine a traditional English pub to be. Dark wood, cozy corners, dim lighting, and full of locals. The renovations may have changed the pub and not for the better, but they certainly haven't changed how I feel about Arundel. It's still one of my favorite towns, not only just in England, but in the whole world, and I can't wait to come back. Head over to my TikTok to watch some extra footage of my trip to the lovely Arundel.